Hopefully this one works. Hey everybody, this is Rockin' Ash, and welcome to my reattempt playthrough on hard mode of Megaman X8. And I apologize if the video that you saw earlier was halfway through, so I realized the audio wasn't working.
Humans, however, have begun migrations to the moon thanks to new technology.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video or the stream. If you're interested, leave a like, comment, subscribe. And let me know if you want me to do any more games like this or any other different types in the near future. So with that, I will let you guys enjoy.
Megaman X8.
First, obviously, I gotta make sure that I. 1, 2, 3. Working. One, two. 1, 2. There we go. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Sorry for the quick pause there. I had to readjust my microphone level because it wasn't working right. So, but again, this is just a reattempt of the playthrough since I didn't set the audio correctly, so if you guys are confused why there will be a second video of this, just because I had to fix a few things, but hopefully now you guys can hear me alright, and if you can, just sit back, relax, and hopefully you enjoy the stream.
Megaman X8.
Now obviously before we start, just gotta make sure I get these things in real quick.
Here I come.
Megaman X8.
Sorry if these take a bit. Putting these things in is usually a
Megaman X8.
Let's do it. Roger. I'll take care of it.
There we go. Alright, now once again, I will be doing this game on hard because, honestly, whenever it came to this game and its difficulty levels, I always thought hard was the best one to go through, just because, in a sense, if you play through normal and easy mode, you wouldn't exactly get a lot of story to it, because when I first played this game, it has multiple endings in a sense, but the true ending that you're looking for is on hard mode. So, with that, let's get started.
The endless Reploid rebellion.
Again, I'm just hoping my audio's coming through clean.
Humans, however, have begun migrations to the moon thanks to new technology. This plan is called the Jacob Project, and an orbital elevator was built as part of it. Highly advanced new generation Reploids have been brought to the moon's surface to work.
I always remember back when I was a kid when I first saw this cutscene, it felt so cool to seeing an elevator going from down to the ground planet to upper space. And then knowing that those are what people use to go up there has just surprised me, so. And with that, we are starting Megaman X8, The Paradise Lost.
This is X. I've encountered an accident while on patrol of the orbital elevator. Dispatch rescue mechanoloids immediately.
I remember the first time I saw this cutscene, I always thought that it would have just thrown me right into the opening stage, and I thought I had to fight like a bunch of those Sigmas. I thought, oh crap. At least that's what the younger me thought. Now I realize that it was just an intro, so. Yeah, I'd feel pretty intimidated and scared too if I saw all those freaking figures walking towards me like that.
Sigma?
To protect ourselves from damage during the accident, we had to copy a sturdy Sigma body. We knew Generation Reploids enjoy complete and total immunity to all viruses. So even copying something as dangerous as Sigma provides no risk.
Who are you?
I'm Lumine. I'm the director in charge of the elevator and of the Jacob Project.
And yet you've got a weird hairstyle. That's my opinion.
Warning. Warning.
I'm picking up Maverick readings near the Jacob facility. All hunters near Point Galapagos, please dispatch immediately.
Roger.
Ready.
X, this new Maverick, its pattern is very unusual.
Out of all of the opening stages of every X game I've ever played as a kid or growing up since then, to this day I still think that Megaman X8's Noah's Park is still one of the best ones because of the, not just because of the atmosphere and the ambience that it makes, but also just the music of this game is also what gets me into it because it just has so many good tracks, you know?
I'd like to do some research on it, so try to pick up plenty of samples.
Got it. Okay, Axel, let's get going. Ready when you are, X.
So what they usually did for this game ever since the recent one, which was Megaman X7, they decided to keep the system of two characters. So basically when you enter a stage, or either an intermission stage, which is a part of this game, but I'll show you guys later on, you basically have the option to choose between two characters. One is your main, one is your sub, and you go through the entire stage of those two characters. And you can also buy and unlock upgrades for said characters throughout the game. But depending on what difficulty you're playing on is how many upgrades you have, so.
When you need Axel's help, call him in with a character change.
Better watch out, X. I might just steal your spotlight.
You two be careful. I'll send Zero over later to give you a hand.
Also, real quick, let's say whoever's watching, I just hope my audio's coming in clean, so I had to fix that recently. So.
Give me a hand.
Anyway, let's just start through Noah's Park. Now the thing about the whatever difficulty you choose throughout the game depends on what exactly you play through. So if you play through the game as normal or easy mode, your health bar and your weapon energy is a lot more filled. But through hard mode, it's a lot smaller, and throughout the game you'll have to get upgrades or other abilities to upgrade your health and weapon energy. So that's why it's so low.
Axel, I've examined the data on that Maverick. Looks like it grabs its opponents and immobilizes them.
Oh, I figured it did that because of the big, giant, meaty claws.
The enemy, call for a tag assist and help is on the way.
Claws. I remember when I was a kid, when I first played this game, I thought this boss fight was annoying because anytime you would be chasing him down the path and he'd do those two orbs that appear on his leg, the only annoying thing about it is the fact that when he does it, it's when he's also using them to move, so like that. So when you're constantly trying to make sure he doesn't grab you or or to hit you, it's not really easier. I mean, it's not really meant to be easy, but it just means that it's a lot more difficult to dodge his claws sometimes. And throughout the game, these little blue things that are called medals are used to buy upgrades and other stuff from the shop once you get further into the game.
I'd like to start analyzing it right away. Bring it to me as soon as you can.
So far
I'm on my way. Axel, I'm counting on you to clean up.
So far through the opening stage, you'll be playing as all three characters to give you a basic idea of how the game works. So at first point, it'll have you use these two, then it'll have you go through sections where you play as only one, but...
No problem, Max. This'll be a snap. Good luck.
So once you get to the opening stage of this game, you'll have a pretty decent idea of how the character system works. And like this as well, throughout the stages, depending on if you have a navigator equipped, or chosen I should say, they will give you advice depending on what stage you're playing. So one navigator just gives you advice throughout the thing, while the other two in this game, which we'll get to that in a bit, they one gives you advice on the bosses you encounter, and the other one is able to scan the entire area and tell you where a secret item is located, as well as how to reach it or how to get it. Now, normally when you have two characters in this game, when you're the main character you play as, if you take damage and if most of their health doesn't dissipate, well, it becomes a red bar rather than a green bar. That's a sign that if you change your character, that red health will either regenerate over time, or the more enemies you hit with your weapons, you'll be able to regenerate it faster. So. I always liked this game, because given the fact that it was an old PS2 game back in the early 2000s when I was younger, for an old game, it still had a lot of cool effects, in my opinion.
Pick up the pace. This is no time to slack off. You show up late and have the nerve to complain? I can more than handle a few Mavericks.
That's what I always love about Axel. He always likes to point out the remarks and be all quirky with it.
That's the spirit. Let's move.
Now, the unique thing about this game is each character has not only their own set of abilities, but they also achieve their own set of weapons. So throughout the game, when you defeat a boss, you will be able to either buy other... Well, when I say buy, I mean, depending on which character you play as in the stage is what weapons they use. So in X and Axel's case, they actually use the weapons or the abilities they gain from the bosses they fight. But with Zero, since he uses his own skill and techniques, he learns different types of, techniques with his own weapons. And throughout the game, if you have enough medals, you can go into the shop and purchase other types of weapons for him. It ranges from a pair of Banjo fans, which provide a force field, I should say. So in terms of X and Axel, they just get different abilities, but they use their same weapons. In Zero's case, he actually uses his own techniques, but in different ways, as well as he also can acquire other different types of handheld weapons, besides his saber. So you could get him either a hammer, a bunch of fans, or even, well, you'll see once I get through the rest and get a few more medals, but the point is, each character has their own set of abilities, their own set of enhancements, and their own way of leveling, or should I say, their own way of traversing through stages. So that's what I like about the double character system, which is where you can, so that way if you're stuck and don't know how to get to a specific point of a secret, instead of just being stuck with one character and later trying to get to it later on with other abilities, you can see if your other character has the ability to get to it.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Zero. How you been holding up?
And out of all the teams I like to do in this game, I always prefer doing X and Zero because they have the better abilities in my sense.
Come on, let's go. Go for it.
So, and throughout the game, you'll obviously see more
X, can you hear me?
difficulties in each stage, meaning depending on what the environment is what you'll have to deal with in a sense. And while some of them aren't exactly difficult, some enemies do have like armor, like these I don't know exactly what they're called, but I know that a few 3 hits from Zero Saber or charge blast from X will obviously crack them and expose their weak point, but some of the bosses have that system too, but they're not really as easy to break, so you'll have to figure out a way to break them and how to do it without getting too much damage in. So.
According to my analysis, the double attack should work best on this Maverick. When the attack gauge is full, use the double attack.
I still thought for a game that came out back in early 2004, I still thought this game was pretty cool, even for an oldie like this. So the crab boss is pretty simple. All you gotta do is break his armor, and if you don't have enough of the gauge full, it drops those, as you probably saw earlier, it drops those gems that can fill the gauge. So all you have to do is pretty much use the double attack of this boss, because it's usually the most important thing to use. And depending on how it is you get the, you can either destroy enemies or, again, gather those blue, red, and black crystals off the ground, which also fill it up. So throughout the game, you'll be able to use this on either normal enemies throughout the stage, or you can also use this on the boss. But depending on how you use it is up to you, because if you use it on the boss when they're nearly defeated, there's a chance that the entire, as you saw there, the green digital atmosphere there will turn orange, and it'll be basically the finishing blow. So.
How nice to see you again, X. Vile! He used to be a Class A hunter, but now he's our sworn enemy. He's a maverick and a wanted criminal.
I'd love to stay and play, boys, but I'm afraid I have too much work to do.
Yeah, that isn't enemy. This guy has been... so for some context, this particular character, Vile, has been around in the series for a while. However, his appearances have been short because the first Megaman X game released back in 1993, which was the first time Vile had appeared. And after the first boss fight in the final section of the game is the first time he'd be destroyed. And unfortunately, since Vile didn't have a whole lot of cameos, he's only been ever shown in 3 games. X1, Megaman X being the first game, and eventually he reappeared in the 3rd game back in 1995, and eventually they decided not to bring him back until 2004, which was this game. So.
The director of the facility, if that's the
And,
case,
well, there was also the remake of the original Mega Man X game for the PSP, where Vile himself was a playable character at the time, so. So besides the remake, he really hasn't had that many appearances given his dialogue. So,
kept talking about some new world beginning.
which is kind of what I hate sometimes when a game developer does that with a character. They have so much potential to actually claim what they're supposed to be meant as. So in this case, Vile was supposed to represent one of X's many rivals. But I find that surprising given the fact that he barely ever appeared that much, so... And before somebody asks, I can already tell you that, yes, in a manner of speaking, this version of Vile definitely resembles Boba Fett in a way, so... Okay, so just like every other classic Mega Man, or even current, who knows, you have the classic 8 boss setup, and depending on which stage you start with, is what weapon you get first. Now, since I'm on hard mode, and since I don't really have a lot of upgrades right now, I think I'll start with Metal Valley and go against Earthrock Trilobite. That's a mouthful. Now, I do have the only bonuses I'm going to be using for a while is going to be for Axel and Zero. Because in a sense, they don't really affect them too much. So in Zero's case, I don't know what the Black Zero armor does for him besides defense, at least from what I've used to know, so... And the only thing the White Axel does is just give him... He's able to stay in the air while using his whatever weapon, so... So for a while, until I get all the other armor parts for X, I won't be using the ultimate armor for a while, because that's not till later on. So I'll be sticking with the normal X, as challenging as it is. Sometimes he's got to go old school with it. So for this stage, I will go X and Axel.
Let me introduce your new navigators.
Nice to meet you, hunters. My name is Lair. My specialty is analyzing enemy abilities. I hope I can be of use.
Hi, I'm Pallet. I'm good at analyzing routes and stages.
I don't suppose I need to say it, but I, Alia, will also assist in navigation. Before you head into battle, be sure to choose a navigator to assist you. Of course, if you're feeling confident, you can always choose to go it solo.
So basically, the whole point of these three characters is they assist you in knowledge, in a sense. So, in Alia's case, she's basically like an all-around character, where she gives you advice on both ends, while the other two, like Lair, she gives you advice on the boss, or what enemies have what type of abilities, and Pallet has the knowledge of knowing where secret areas are. So if you come across any areas where they contact you for advice, either one of them will tell you what area. It depends on the specific area you go through, and they'll tell you where or what something is, so... Since I don't really have any many upgrades, I'll just start with Alia.
Earthrock Trilobite.
I always used to make a joke how that guy looked like a cockroach, but...
The minerals mined here are essential for space development. If you don't put down this rebellion, the Jacob project could be in danger.
So the whole point of this stage is you have a giant mining robot chasing you down through the first half of the stage. And pretty much you'll be fighting enemies throughout while you run, so you'll have to make sure you stay ahead of this while doing so.
With it, you can make a new chip. Be sure to stop by the lab when you get back to the hunter base.
Yeah, as what she just implied, there are other secret upgrades to find in every stage, and I'll probably do my best to find them. It's just that I'll be able to find them. I'll just have to make sure that I'll just have to get a few more upgrades before doing it, because some of these secret areas that they are hiding in depend on what type of upgrades you have equipped, or in X's case, what type of armor he has equipped, because there are some hidden areas that are in the ground that require a specific weapon for him to uncover them, so... That's why sometimes you want to make sure you get enough points as possible. And for this section, once you get to the crane, he'll try shooting a laser at you. And normally what you do is, you pretty much just... That's the way I like to use Axel's character, because since he can hover, he has the ability to stay in the air longer besides Zero, who can just double jump. But normally how this section... Well... Out of you too, babe. So, pretty much... let me explain real quick. This section, while with Axel or Zero, it's easier, but if you land on the ground, he'll do his claw will dig back towards him, and if you're trying to wall climb up the wall to the lever, he will punch the wall and he'll knock you down. So, for those who... I know, I saw the text. So, basically, this is why this section of the stage is more used for Axel and Zero, because since Axel can hover and Zero can double jump, they have a less chance of getting hit by the laser, so... Now this section is just pretty much going back the way we came, but this time we're the ones chasing the robot. And like I said, there are a bunch of secrets in every stage, so...
You found a rare metal. With it, be sure to stop.
And just depending on what character you play as, or rather I should say what two characters you play as, is how you can traverse them, so... Normally, in the past, people have always described this section of the game as a quote-unquote metal farm. And what I mean by that is, since this thing takes no damage, you can consistently shoot at it. And I'm happy to see you here too, babe. So basically while he's still running away, you can consistently attack him while he won't take any damage. He will drop these red metals, which you can use to farm off him. And while it does take a little bit of time, in a sense, if you're playing on hard mode, it's kind of worth it, because some of the upgrades you have to acquire later on are a little expensive, so depending on what type of metals you're looking for, or... I don't specifically know the value of each type, but I've been trying to figure it out, but I will eventually.
So can you hear me?
In this section of the... So basically in this section, the boss, Earthrock Trilobite, is using his crystals to obviously trap you in the corners, or trap you, make you take damage from the wall, so... Even on, no matter what difficulty it is, it's pretty much easy to traverse. You just gotta make sure you know when to jump and when to see... Because it gives you an obvious hint of where it'll spawn, you just have to figure out when to jump. And for those who are either just joining now or probably saw the other one earlier, this is a reattempt because I had to fix a few audio issues, so if you're confused why there's two videos of this, that's the reason, so. So... pretty much, yes. Okay. So this section pretty much is the mini-boss, I should say. The whole point of this section is to avoid him ground pounding the walkway and trying to grab you, and he will shoot like that. He will shoot a laser towards the ground, towards the catwalk as well. So the whole the whole point of this mini boss is to pretty much time the time when the crane is able to hit him in the head, because otherwise, like that, it'll just it'll phase through him and not do any damage, so... But other than that, while it is kind of hard to determine the timing of when he strikes, it's not really that hard of a mini-boss, so...
X, can you hear me?
Now, the thing about this game and its bosses is that, some of them have... some of the bosses in this game have, quote-unquote, super armor, meaning they won't be able to take damage until you break off that piece of armor. So, in this case, Earthrock Trilobite Yes, he did. So this boss in Earthrock, the thing on his head is his armor. So in this case, it's his armor. So until you knock that off, he won't be taking any damage until it's removed. So there is a way to destroy it if you have the correct. Yeah, in the past I did actually consider this guy looking like a cockroach because of his physique, but every boss in this game and past games have a weakness depending on who you beat first. So there is actually a way to destroy his armor where he won't be able to put it back on, but since I don't have the weapon, I won't be able to do that. So I'll have to make sure I be careful where I move. Like that. So a full charge or repeated shots from Axel in this case, or in Zero's case, 3 strikes and it comes off like that. Once it falls off, you'll be able to do decent damage. Yes, and this, I don't really know what he calls this move, but in a sense, it's pretty simple to give or take. All you have to do is traverse and not watch where it'll bounce. So. Whoa, okay, that was weird. I don't know if anyone just saw that, but he's never moved down that fast before. So what this type of thing he's doing here is called, every boss in terms of hard mode has this. It's called angry mode, which means that they will do their own special type of attack and will either consistently shoot it at you or have segments where you can dodge. But some of them, they're pretty simple, while the others are a little tricky, but... So every boss you defeat, you not just get their weapon, you get a huge amount of medals too, so, yep. So as I said... So basically, while X and Axel gets a different type of gun where he can use that Maverick's abilities. X with his systems, he's able to just use the weapon that they had originally. And in Zero's case, he basically just copies their techniques. So every move that Zero uses is in his own way. So basically, every rare metal you find, or normal metals, can be brought here to buy upgrades, or buy, in this case, expansion, or not expansions, but, so basically, since currently they're all at 0%, meaning their health and weapon energy is at the smallest point, so I think we'll start with the weapon up, just so we can, because there is a stage where there's actually a stage where that's required, so... Oh, you mean, Palette? Yeah, she, in terms of the characters in this series, Palette was definitely one of the weirdest ones, just because... It was mainly just because of the... Because sometimes most characters in this series have, like, weird headpieces, so... Alright.
X? What's the matter?
And to give some concept on some of the characters,
That's right. It's begun again. How long must this war go on?
So in terms of story, X, he's pretty much been described as a pacifist in nature, meaning while his job is to hunt down evil robots and destroy them, he doesn't exactly enjoy it. So while over the course of the games, he hasn't really said anything about it, but by the time Megaman X8 came out is when he decided to find a better way to do things, but But in the end, he decided to get back to what he was doing, or what he does best, which is fighting. And what I've noticed is, ever since X7, and then into this game, he's become a lot more devoted to it, instead of just being a pacifist, so... While he does still show it, he's actually a lot more confident in what he has to do, so...
Even as we speak, Mavericks are causing havoc.
Okay, and like I said, since I was able to upgrade the weapon energy, we'll be going to the Dynasty, or Gigavolt Manowar. Now let's go with the classic duo for this one. Considering how this game plays, the best type of team, in my opinion, is always just the main character being X, and the sub-character just being either X or Zero or Axel, because, I mean, in a sense, it really doesn't matter who you put first, but this is what I like to do. I think for this one I'll do Lair, since she's, You know, at the time when I first played this when I was a kid, I thought this guy was like an alien jellyfish at one point, because so the whole point of Gigavolt's stage, or Gigabolt, is his stage is consistent of like a high-speed chase from a old... Pretty much the best way I can describe it is you're in a hovercraft, obviously, and you're chasing him through the streets, or hovering through the streets, I should say. Alright. So basically, the whole point of this stage itself is you have to catch up with him and make sure that he doesn't get to... Because I think the max limit to going around this stage is 2 times, and once you get to a specific point, it'll pretty much make you restart, so you want to make sure, and this is where the weapon energy upgrade comes into play, because it's used, in this stage, it's used as a boost system, so the higher you have, the more times you can boost. And again, the first time I played through this stage, I had trouble freaking getting through it, because, like I said, getting the medals and everything to upgrade your characters isn't exactly easy to farm. But all in all, it's not exactly too crazy difficult. It's just a matter of getting through it. Ah. I didn't even shoot at him there, but okay.
Turn Megalopolis' power to normal. Now.
Okay, for a quick second, just look at this thing and tell me you guys, nobody thinks this thing looks like a freaking jellyfish in a hovercraft. Anybody? Either that or this guy's eyes make him look like he's stoned. I don't know how a robot can do that, but...
I'm no Maverick. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Looks like I'll have to teach you a lesson.
The claw, dude. I don't know if you can call that a claw. It looks more like a freaking suction cup. Alright. And obviously, depending on what weapon you have equipped, is oh crap. What? Oh, god dang it. Oh, okay. Oh, you mean the... Oh, you're talking about the little jellyfish-looking things that he spawns in? Yeah, they kind of do.
I'm no Maverick. Who are you anyway?
I'm X. I'm a Maverick hunter.
Dumbass.
Your turn. Let's switch. Got this one.
Every time I've gone through his stage and beaten him, I swear, every time he does that, I think he's saying Jesus Christ, like...
Piece of cake.
And with his defeat, we get 3 different types of lightning weapons. Or thunder, I should say.
You got through that stage as if it were your own backyard. Nice work.
Great job, Zero.
I always love this section because sometimes it shows how, even though they are robots, they still have feelings for some people.
Thanks.
See what I mean?
Zero hasn't forgotten already. I'm Pallet. This here is Lair. We're the new navigators here. Don't forget about us. Lair wanted to talk to you and waited here the whole time for your return. Right, Lair?
Oh, sorry. Anyway,
That's why I love this version of Zero. He was just always so sassy or everything.
I did some research, but I'm unable to determine Lumine's location. Anyway, that's all.
well, no matter what the Mavericks are up to, looks like I'll have to stop them.
And I bet you will, Zero. Okay, let's see. Actually, there's a part I need to get from the stage real quick. So throughout the stage, so throughout each stage, basically X will have a part, or rather a upgrade he can find, so that, Ugh. Anyway. So throughout... Excuse me for 1 second.